Okay, I'm done keeping the secret because usually it doesn't stay a secret for that long, especially, well, you know why. You take a look at the logo on top of a lot of my tech products, you might figure out that, yeah, I have a hard time not buying Apple products, but anywho, I got a new Apple product, and this one is the Apple Watch Series 7. Basically going to tell you a bit about myself and watches because I've been a watch wearer for how many years now? 6 years now? And because I've been wearing a watch for about 6 years, it's basically been engraved into my style choice. So basically that means whenever I go out or such and such like that, I need to make sure I'm wearing a watch. Otherwise I feel practically naked. And I've had many different watches in the past, like for example, my first watch that I've actually have not lost is this Casio one here that I got for $30. Wow, this thing looks so old and so scratched up. Yeah, this was my first watch here, and for quite a bit actually, I've actually worn this watch with a dead battery, and that's because after a decent, I'll say about 4 years of use out of this thing, which is pretty good for a watch battery in terms of the analog watch style. After 4 years, the battery had died. Except when I went to get a battery replacement for this thing, that's when the problems arose. Like, for example, they didn't actually have the battery that this thing needs in stock. I went to Walmart, the place where I bought this thing from, the jeweler's aisle at Walmart, and then I went to our dedicated, the only thing they sell are batteries shop. And yet, despite how many batteries that place had, they had different watch batteries, they had car batteries, they've had AA's, phone batteries, such and such. This place specializes in selling you batteries. They did not have a battery for this watch. So evidently this watch must have a proprietary battery. Basically, after about 4 years of wearing this, or actually 5 years, one of those years of wearing this thing, it was dead. I basically wore a dead watch everywhere, and that's because I can't go out not wearing a watch, so I basically went out wearing a watch that didn't work. Until finally, for one of my birthdays, my dad got me a birthday present and gave me a bit of a speech to go along with it, and that birthday present was one of his personal favorite watches. Okay, this was a brand new watch. He never wore this watch. He basically bought a watch from one of his favorite places to buy a watch, which is Sterling. And honestly, this is one of my favorite watches ever. I love the feel of the metallics. It feels expensive. It looks expensive. The blue ring and blue watch face. Ooh, he definitely got those details correct. It's waterproof, assuming that you actually screw in that little wheel. Evidently, if you unscrew the wheel, it opens up basically a weakness to this thing. Technically can go swimming with this watch as long as I tighten that plug up. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I really like this watch, and there's a bit of family value in this watch as well. But at the end of the day, I still ended up going out to buy an Apple Watch. And why is that? Well, let me explain to you why that is once I cover the unboxing. So the unboxing is actually a bit interesting because this is actually a little bit of a first in terms of an Apple Watch unboxing, but also Apple really has done quite the work with the origami, I shall say myself. It's basically unfolding two tabs that are held in by another two tabs. Apple really knows how to do the origami to basically unravel the packaging that holds the watch case and the actual watch band itself. They have to use two separate pieces of packaging for that for some reason. Don't know why, but either way, I first pulled out the box with the watch case on it. Was obviously I need to get my watch out of the box, and I really wanted to see that. So basically pulled the two peel tabs off of the bottom of that box, lifted up, and then I was greeted with obviously the watch itself in its blue little pouch. Aside from that was also the documentation. No Apple stickers, sadly, even though honestly I actually think this watch really should come with Apple stickers. It really should come with Apple stickers, but it didn't. And then the charger for this. Oh, by the way, no charging brick in the box, so I had to make a separate purchase because I knew one thing for a fact. I had to check the packaging to be sure. I had to check the what's in the box section on apple.com to be sure, and they shipped well, obviously an Apple Watch charger with a nice metal ring on it. I really like this. This feels very premium, though I'm a little concerned about the cable. However, despite that, yes, it does actually come with a superior port on it. Finally, despite that it came with a superior port, which I'm not complaining about, I actually did not have a charging brick other than my laptop charger, which is like 140 watts, a little overkill. That's the only brick I have with Type-C on it. So I actually had to buy a separate Type-C wall brick. So yeah, basically I unboxed the charger. Then I pulled the Apple Watch out of its pouch, which, well, it's as simple as just take the watch out of its pouch. Then I quickly unboxed the watch bands, and I was a little concerned to know which kind of watch band they are because, I mean, I've discovered I've been a little picky about my colors. Like, for example, I had to make sure I had the blue sport band. Guess what actually came in the box? A blue sport band, and this is a random Apple Watch I just bought from Walmart that I knew was blue, but they didn't really tell me that the sport band was blue, or whether or not it came with a sport band, but I'm grateful it did and that it's blue. So I unboxed the sport band, and I was surprised it actually came with 3 different pieces. The first piece that has the metallic pin and the hole to slot the other band in, and then it came with 2 different sized fitment bands, or whatever you want to call it. Surprised it came with 2. I ended up using the small one because I have small wrists, small hands, and such. So yeah, basically put everything together, did some setup on the software side, and well, what do you know? I have an Apple Watch. So yeah, in case you can't tell due to me being a slight distance from the camera, I have the blue Apple Watch Series 7, and you guys should be able to guess the screen size, because if you know me, you should be able to easily guess what the screen size is. It's quite obvious which one I got. I've actually had this watch for a couple of days, and what are some of my first impressions? First of all, I'm actually being encouraged to live a healthier lifestyle, and what I mean by that is, wow, I'm definitely out of shape, because at the end of the first day, when I checked my ring status, I'm clearly out of shape. Now, then again, I bought this watch at like 3 in the afternoon, so I didn't really have that much time to actually close a ring, but still, it actually showed me how inactive I really am, so it's encouraged me to be a little more active than I typically am. I also like how I can control my media from this watch. I mean, my AirPods, I can do most things just fine. I can control play pause, I can control skip track, I can control my ANC or transparency settings just like that. Except there's one thing that I couldn't really control at all, and it was pretty much volume. Once I open up the media player on my Apple Watch, my digital crown actually becomes volume controls on my phone. Yay! That's nice. That honestly really is very nice. I like it a lot. Other quick impressions. The way Apple actually handles the hands of the watch, I'm not particularly a fan of, and it's because they're kind of fat. I like to have very thin, precise hands. Oh well, that's something I can get used to. And yes, I am going to keep it on the analog watch face. I am not using digital readouts because, seriously, you should learn how to read an analog clock. Pretty much, I will say that I have pretty much a positive first impression on this. There are a couple things that I've noticed that definitely will take some getting used to. First of all, despite that one of the headlining features of this watch is a full-size keyboard, that thing is really hard to type on. Even despite that this is the 45mm Apple Watch, the largest display you can get on an Apple Watch. It is really hard to type on this thing. I have had more mistypes on this than any smartphone I've used in the past, even compared to my iPod Touch with that tiny display to display a keyboard. So yeah, the keyboard on this is really tiny. And then the last thing I've actually realized that I really don't like about this Apple Watch, or pretty much any Apple Watch in general, it vibrates. I don't like how it vibrates. To me, it feels weird. I just don't like it. But those two things aside, yeah, I basically have a new Apple Watch. I'll do a review of it at some point, because right now I've just had it for like a couple of days. This is like first impressions, and I have to say, I'm really impressed. The sport band is very comfortable. I love the stylized look. I love how I can actually change the watch face as well. I haven't completely figured out the style that I want to go with in terms of the watch face. Yeah, I am quite happy with my purchase. So, do you guys own an Apple Watch? And if so, which Apple Watch do you use? Or do you not even use an Apple Watch, but you use a smartwatch yourself? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Alright, thank you for watching. Do me a favor and interact with the stuff below. My name is DeWolf. Random Alpha, signing out.